Hello again adventurers, and welcome to the exciting video from Serbia. Today's video I'll show you some of the adventures we did during the summer. I'll go for Danube swimming race, we'll go to visit the Kopaonik National Park. I'm also gonna compete in 15-kilometer trail running race. So let's get into the vlog. Right, and here at the beginning of 5-kilometer swimming race on Danube at the town of Golubac, which is near the borders with Romania. The swimming race starts at this beach. We also have these other water sports like paddleboarding and sailing, and there's also a place where is the widest Danube. This is actually just first year of this race, so there are not so many people here because there was also some other race in Belgrade. I thought I don't have that much competition here, but the problem was that they gave us these floating buoys, which I used mine before, but this one was completely different. They gave it to us literally just 1 minute before the start of the race, so we didn't even have time to adjust it, and it had a really long rope which was also really heavy and was just sinking down. I was basically just kicking it and getting my legs tangled up in it all the time. Thought other swimmers have the same issues, so I didn't think twice about it, but some swimmers really took off really quickly, and I was just getting frustrated with this swimming buoy because I couldn't just swim properly, so that I was losing a lot of time here at the beginning. This race, as I said, was 5 kilometers, so it's the longest race I ever did, and it was downstream all the way to the Golubac castle. Because it was downstream, we were swimming much more quickly than normally. So over here you can see I'm swimming behind this guy who doesn't have this yellow buoy. So I was actually thinking just leaving this buoy here because it was slowing me down so much. I was kicking the rope all the time and it created a lot of drag. But then I was thinking twice that this guy is probably disqualified because there is just no way they're gonna let him swim without a buoy when everyone else has to have it. Especially when it creates so much problems with swimming like I had. So I just pushed through it and really tried to stay behind this guy, but there was just no way I could overtake him with this yellow buoy. But at the end it turned out that the fat guy got the second place. He was the one who was swimming without a buoy, and I got third place, so I was a little bit disheartened that they let this cheater get the second place. And you can see I think he was really embarrassed because he got off the podium after just a few seconds. He knew that he didn't deserve that second place. But at least I'll know for next year that I'll not have to swim with the swimming buoy, or I'll have to swim with my own. So over here Sanya is going with the kayak that we bought along with me when I'm training my swimming, which is much better than training by yourself. Alright, and over here we are traveling to Kopaonik National Park, which is about 4 hours of driving from Kučevo. And as you can see, it's quite foggy up here in the mountains, and it actually started raining just before we went. As I mentioned, this summer was the driest and hottest I remember since living in Serbia. So the next morning after we arrived on Saturday, we had a 15-kilometer trail running race. So even though Kopaonik is the most famous skiing center in Serbia and has lots of hills, this trail running race was not supposed to be very steep. It was supposed to have only 500 meters of elevation, which is not that much for a trail running race. I thought I have more chance of good placement. 4, 3, Alright, and here I'm finishing at the 5th place, just seconds behind the 4th guy who overtook me in just last 400 meters, because I didn't know how far he was behind me. Actually overtook him right at the beginning when there was a steeper hill. I thought he would be much faster uphill, but he was actually faster downhill. At the end, it didn't really matter if I finished 4th or 5th, only first 3 places get award either way. Overall, it was a good trail apart from few parts where the trail was not really visible. It was just pretty much running through the grass. Sometimes it was also muddy, but at least it was marked pretty good with the red flags. Even though it was just about 500 meters of elevation, it was still quite a lot for me, as I'm not the lightest guy out here. I'm still carrying quite a lot of muscles compared to the other guys. Especially first guy finished like 10 minutes in front of me, which is nowhere for me to catch, but maybe I can catch like third guy who only finished 2 minutes in front of me, which I think would be doable for me to catch, but especially I would have to train more the steep downhill descents, and especially here was really technical with overgrown paths. And I didn't want to fall down and hurt myself somewhere along the way on some steep descent, so I played it safe and didn't go as fast as I probably could.
Prvo mjesto u plasmanu 30-39, Miloš Veganov, 90 godine, 1 sat i 18 minuta, naš gost. Ove godine u kategoriji 30-39 godina, Miloš Veganov, Slovačka, Martin Gaber, Nemačka i Miroslav Mijarković, Srbija.
Alright, and as the race finished at around 3 p.m, we still had some time left in the day to do some hike, so we decided to go more up the hill from Kopaonik town, where we found out this trail on Maps.me that should lead to some geyser. In just few minutes we got to these amazing viewpoints with the cliffs. As you can see, all these top of the hills and ridgelines are deforested for animal grazing. Alright guys, so we're following this Pančić trail in Kopaonik National Park, and there's pretty much no trail, nobody is hiking here, it's all overgrown, and we're just pretty much navigating it through the Maps.me application, but luckily the grass is not too high, but as you can see, we just there's absolutely no trail visible, and it should be going downhill, and then we should get to some geyser, so we're gonna see how it is. I just won first place in 30-39 years category, running 15k around here, and it was also terrible trail, like also nothing visible, just running like this through bushes, and I'm not so skilled down the hill, so I almost finished 4th, but the one guy just overtook me, and yeah, it was most part was good, but I think I would definitely some parts were like really muddy and steep like this, and I didn't want to twist my ankle or something, because then you can't run at all. I think next time I'm just gonna try some road race, maybe there is a half a marathon, to see if I can do better there. But trail races are really tough here in Serbia. So now we enter this pine tree forest, and the trail is a bit more visible, I guess because it's no grass here, so we're gonna see if we can make it all the way down. Alright, so we connected from that little trail onto this bigger dirt road, and I think this is also a race for mountain bikes here. just passing with this trail, but there's so many fallen trees here, and we also had to pay entrance fee before coming here, like 300 dinars. So I'm not sure where the money is going to, but you see all these pine trees, they're not really stable, they just break like nothing. Only the leafy trees are more stable, so that's why they want to replant these pine trees that grow really fast, but they're really weak as well. They break like nothing with a strong wind. And the Kopaonik National Park should definitely put some money into cleaning up the trails, because they look absolutely terrible. So you can already see a lot of trash here, sign of society, and there should be the geyser somewhere around here. So here we are reading that there should be some cave with some religious temple only a few hundred meters away from here, so we're gonna check it out first. On the way back we'll check out the geyser, which should be also somewhere around here. The Balkan Beach, deciduous tree whose diameter is up to 2 meters. It's characteristic for its thin, light grey bark, which does not crack even when it's cold, and its gentle, elliptic leaves. The fruit is edible nut. It grows well on northern slopes of hills and mountains and reaches the height of 40 meters. European silver fir. It grows in semi-shaded areas of high mountains. It can grow up to 50 meters tall. It seeks unpolluted air, high atmospheric moisture, a large amount of precipitation, low temperature oscillations, and fresh and deep soils. Cones are upright on the branches up to 30 centimeters long. So here we are. There's a little spring over here. There's a cliff up here, and I thought there is a cave, but it's just some religious place. A lot of money here. This is the same method who brought Christianity to Europe from Italy. Alright, so this place is not really worth it to visit. I thought it's a real cave, but you see there is no cave to be entered. But it was a still nice trail to this amazing forest, so it's still worth it to hike here, even though the end is nothing special. The spruce. It's a European plant 40 to 50 meters tall. Pyramidal crown is up to 8 meters in diameter. The cones are up to 20 meters large, brown, hanging, decorative. It prefers colder climates and likes fresh soils without chalk, high relative humidity and semi-shade. Because of shallow root, it's prone to wind uprooting. Here it is, the geyser. Wow. Is it warm? Oh, never seen anything like this before. It's pretty cold. But wow. It looks like a broken pipe. Maybe it is just a broken pipe. Maybe they made it like a pipe from the river and then they just broke it here. I don't know. Alright, so on the way back we decided to keep going left on this bigger dirt road, then going up straight through that grassy path. See these red ribbons around here because it's gonna be used for the mountain biking race tomorrow. Definitely be more distance to cover around, but at least we don't have to go so steep and with a bushy path. As we walk on this road, we can look up and see these cliffs where we're taking pictures at the beginning, but it's just too steep to get up there, so we have to go around. Alright, so from here we can see our car is parked somewhere over there, and it was actually, I think, possible to connect from the road up there to the ridgeline, but I think it was still too steep and bushy, so we just decided to keep going. And here we can see those cliffs where we're taking the pictures at the beginning. Right, so we follow this road over here and connected somewhere there to this asphalt road. Now our car is maybe 1.5 kilometers from here, so we're just going around a little bit. So we basically went around these cliffs. I think you can see the road over there. Yeah, that's the road that we went, and it just keeps going somewhere here and down here, and then from there we wanted to connect up, but it still seemed pretty bushy and steep, so we didn't want to go there. Alright, and over here we are next day on another hike, and we're actually crossing the borders with Kosovo here. We're just curious, we wanted to see what's on the borders, if there is any controls or what's here, but there was absolutely nothing. It was like we're still going through Serbia. For those of you who don't know, there was actually a war with Serbia and Kosovo in 1999, and NATO actually bombarded Belgrade at the time. And that was because Kosovo wanted to be independent, but Serbia didn't want Kosovo to be independent. Serbian story is that Albanians actually paid Serbians to get out of Kosovo. The money was actually coming from Americans because they wanted Kosovo for the oil reserves. But historically, Kosovo was always part of Serbia, and at the times of war there was still about 50-50% of Albanians and Serbians living in Kosovo. It was definitely not fair that the Albanians would get the whole Kosovo and Serbians would get nothing. I think it should have been divided half by half, and that's why many countries in the world are still not recognizing Kosovo as a separate country. So you see, guys, the difference between national park and area that's not protected. Just look at the deforestation. So this used to be Serbia about 10 years ago. When was it? 13. So 13 years ago, and now it's Kosovo, and they completely deforested the whole side of the mountain because they don't care about the environment here. It's probably no tourism, and on the other side is the Serbia, the national park, and you saw there's many more forests, and it just looks abhorrent here. So guys, now we're getting clouds. Down there we've been just a few minutes ago. It's already cloudy. So
Over here you can see some blueberries, but they're really small. I guess that's because it was so dry in the summer. But the taste sweeter than in Slovakia. In Slovakia we have much bigger ones, but not as sweet. So it means that the summers here are getting much drier than before. Here you can see the raspberry bushes here and there, but they don't have much fruit on them, and some of them are even dying, as you can see, because as I said, it's been really dry summer. In Kučevo, where we live, it rained just once since the end of June, like heavily, and that's not enough for especially plants like raspberries. They just die off.
And up here we can see the Pančić Peak, which is the highest peak of the Kopaonik mountains. It's 2017 meters high, but we're not gonna go there today because we don't have enough time before darkness. But we'll continue up on this ridge line where we see a little path, and then they should connect to some other road that should take us back down there to our accommodation.
See guys, we just connected to this bigger road, goes to Pančić Peak, and then there's a ski lift going down. You can see here, we just connected from down here. This is all Kosovo, and now we have to descend down there. Here you can see big excavation site. I think the road goes like this until the peak. So over there you can see the path that we went up. Like hypothetically we could have just cut here, but it's not pleasant to go through these bushes. And I think that's where we started, over there somewhere. And then we just connected from there, which is not that far. So here you can see there is also hiking signs. So probably goes from down there until Pančić Peak. And well, we still made a nice loop through Kosovo, which is just down here. You can also see there is a ski lift going like this. I think it's going down to that main road somewhere there, but we need to go somewhere where these houses are, and then on the right into the fork. So you can also notice these raspberry bushes. I think they all die out there because there is a snow here in the winter for like a few months. So these all are new plants, new growth from this year. So it grows quite a lot just in 1 year. Made a loop from over there, and then somewhere there we descended down here. And you can already see a lot of apartment complexes here, and so this is a big business here now with skiing. So this animal agriculture is the reason for all this deforestation, guys. They require so much land for grazing, it's insane. Look at this, guys. The Serbian side has much more forests because it's a national park, and you saw the Kosovo side was all deforested. So see how much they take care of the nature here. Still not perfect, but it's progress in the right direction.
Alright, and on the way back we stopped in Belgrade to visit my friend from childhood, and I also tried wakeboarding on Ada Ciganlija. However, this lift was breaking many times, so I don't know if I will do it here again. Alright adventurers, I hope you enjoy watching our summer 2021 in Serbia. It was pretty good for swimming and running racing, but I have more races to come, so stay tuned for future videos, and as always, stay healthy
And stay adventurous.